Well, the music's gone. Just like that. What happened? It just shut off. Mike and Louie. Horse racing happy hour. What's up? Hey man, our boy Zach is back. We missed him. Zach, the pick is in. It is NBA draft night, so we'll get a lot of that pick is in. Zach, pop on real quick. We need to know about the Disney experience. Oh, yeah. How was the Disney experience?
Preface with Zach took wife, 3 kids in a camper, drove from Texas to Orlando. Go.
We went to Gulf Shores. That was amazing.
I do like Gulf Shores, by the way.
I told Louie this, and it is sacrilegious to most Americans, but Universal Studios is better than Disney.
What's that?
Universal Studios is better than Disney.
Oh, you like a little Harry Potter world. All right.
And Simpsons and
Transformers
and Spider-Man is there. And
did you get a wand?
We did. Yep.
Yeah,
did all the stuff in Diagon Alley. We did not do that.
No?
But I am Slytherin.
I haven't seen any of that or read any of it, and I'm definitely Slytherin.
You're definitely Slytherin.
Exactly. We went. So Disney, I discovered, is Walt Disney bought way too much property, and they decided to fill it with stores, with 1 or 2 rides in between the stores.
Can I just give my greatest piece of parenting advice that I've ever?
Please do.
When we took the kids to Disney, and Nia was probably, I don't know, first grade. They were like 6 and 3, 7 and 4, in that range, right? So we told them, we said, hey, you can buy whatever you want. Here's $100 gift card each. Once you spend it, it's gone. Okay. But you can buy whatever you want with it.
Okay.
And
this is not advice so far. This is a story, but keep
right. But the advice is they didn't ask for anything. Like they were the last day with their gift card, like holding on to it, like because you're gonna get, if you don't do something like that, you're gonna get beat up every second. Like, oh, can I get this? Can I get that? And it's like, yeah, you can get that. You got your gift card, and then they were really starting to think, it's like, should I spend my gift card on this?
Got it.
It is the way to go with Disney for sure. And they got to make their own decision. It was great. Yeah.
You want to set up the show tonight?
I mean, we're gonna have a good show. We had a great show last week without Zach, and so it's gonna be a pretty good show here with Zach.
We got lucky last week. So if you missed last week's show, we go ahead and have Jenna Antonucci on, and she's great.
Jenna Antonucci.
Hey, Jenna, whoa,
hey.
We go back to that part of the world this week with our guy Jerry Mack.
Dude, just wait till you meet Jerry Mack.
Going back to the East Coast, going back to Jersey as we did at Monmouth last week. Hey, how'd the handicapping go for that?
You killed it. You hit you had a nice ticket. Hopefully you played that pick 4. You would have what $250, something like that. Yeah. What was it? Yes. That's not bad.
And you know what it was? Is that last race was the one where I kind of got besmirched on the I got besmirched on the United Nations prep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I think you can look outside. I think the 5 and the 6 here, pickles and whatever else. And you were like, it's Tribuvin. He's going to win. Like, what are we doing here? And then Tribuvin faded, and I was like, we're going to make a couple hundred.
I don't think I was on Tribuvin. I just didn't think I liked your horse. And then when we did the show,
Commandeer didn't win. The pickle horse won. Yeah, right. Yeah.
When we did the ESPN show the next day, I kind of was like, you know what? I can start to see where you're coming with Commandeering. So, and how did Commandeering do? I actually didn't see the race. So,
lost by 3 lengths or something.
Okay, yeah. All right, not bad.
Finished next to Tribuvin essentially.
Yeah.
So
all right. Hey, so it is. We got Zach back. We got the NBA draft going on because it is I do like the NBA draft for whatever reason.
Well, you're Louisvillian. We're the number 1 market
for college basketball and all that kind of stuff. And we're gonna have, like you said, Jerry Mack come on. We're gonna have Larry Rivelli potentially coming on, talk a little.
We didn't mention Larry Rivelli to open the show.
That's a pretty big 2 Phils trainer, Larry Rivelli,
and he'll be back as the 8-5 favorite in the Ohio Derby, which is where we're going for handicapping this week. By the way, if you're interested, Dan Issel and I will have the Cleveland Plain Dealers Turf Rider on tomorrow. How about that?
Why do they call it Thistledown instead of Thistledowns? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I'll ask him more.
That's the question. That's what America wants to know. Like everyone else, it's Churchill.
Did you see
Downs.
The first year they ran the Ohio Derby?
No.
It's like the year after the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, it's that old. Really?
You do get that the word is Thistledown, right?
Yeah, Thistledown. It's all one word. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But usually, like if you're talking about like to make it part of a racetrack, you would be like Thistledowns.
Okay, but the word is Thistledown. It
would be Thistledown Downs, is Zach's point.
I understand that. Yeah. That's why I would
Thistledown for real.
It's coming down for real. Do we get dinged on
YouTube's
YouTube.
now.
Yeah,
Whatever
right.
it is, yeah.
All
All right, so let's watch some replays though. Huh?
Can we hold on? Zach's not even ready with the replays. Like, give Zach a chance. All right.
You sure about
before, look, they're not down there. So yeah, I'm sure about it. So, let's before we get to the replays of what happened at Monmouth, we have plenty of time. I want to talk a little bit about Hoosier Philly coming up with a big performance, because Hoosier Philly just didn't go to the pea patch and beat Wet Paint. I mean, Hoosier Philly destroyed Wet Paint. And we talked about
right now is a get out front, stay out front track on the dirt, by the way.
It 100% is, but we've been, we thought Hoosier Philly ran better when we saw her at Pimlico. And
I agree with that.
And then now, like, are we going to start to get the Hoosier Philly that we thought we were going to get? And, can she?
I think the hope with her, if you're a fan, is she runs at Churchill in September and in November, right?
Okay, yeah.
And maybe with Keeneland in between, if she's just better in Kentucky, I don't know. But it seems to be that she is better here than she is. I mean, really, her hiccups are what? In New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
So if she just doesn't like New Orleans, she ran well enough at Pimlico.
So you're saying no to the distaff for her?
Yeah, I'm saying no to that.
Okay.
I don't think she's there. I don't know if any of these 3-year-olds are there.
Interesting. Pretty mischievous.
She can show that she is.
Okay.
She has a chance in the Oaks, in the CCA Oaks, and then in the Alabama for sure.
All right, let's go to the Pegasus Stakes, where you saw Kings Barnes return here after the Derby. He finishes second and earns a spot in the Haskell. Let's take a look at this.
It's Subrogate went 1:11.4 for 3/4 of a mile, and Subrogate and Kingsbarn, they're shoulder to shoulder at the top of the stretch. Kingsbarns is trying to push on by and now has put a neck in front. Subrogate is very game to the inside. How Great is Nate is trying to re-rally and salute the stars on the grandstand side. Kingsbarns is having to work. Salute the stars with a huge effort. Kingsbarns, salute the stars. Kingsbarns, salute the stars. Kingsbarns, salute the stars.
Okay. We had a lot of besmirchment about Kings Barnes, his time in the Louisiana Derby, right?
Okay.
His pace.
Yes.
We just saw a closer win when the opening fraction was 23-7.
Right.
That's a slow pace for a closer to come in and be able to take that win.
Right.
Yeah. I think that everything we were talking about Kings Barnes is legit.
All of it's legit. He got a perfect trip.
Yeah.
Salute the Stars had all kinds of trouble and still picked off that race, and is now an absolute problem in the Haskell. No questions asked, especially if there's a faster pace than that. If there's any more to run into than that, oh my goodness, yes. Brad Cox picking another good spot here. By the way, was listed wrong in some of the resources I saw that he ran on turf last time. Actually, it was taken off turf last time.
Oh, taken off. All right.
At Churchill. Still a good track. But
Churchill's a good track.
Won the 1 over a mile and an eighth, turns back around. At Monmouth does the exact same thing. Boy, that horse started coming, and I thought this might help the pick 4 a little if that horse gets up, and he did. We played 2 in the first leg, and that was one of them.
Of course, we get Gary and Mary West, the owner there. Brad Cox, the trainer. Joel Rosario.
Really good for the West. I don't know that they've ever had.
It's the little guys
stakes.
again.
It's the little guys in the sport that really need that help.
Yeah. And so we, Brad Cox. I think this could be the summer. Obviously Brad Cox had great Derby runners, but he's going to have these late bloomers too. I mean, we might see another one.
He's got a chance on Ohio Derby Day.
Yeah,
he's got a chance. He's going to have a chance. We
Indiana,
know he's going to have a stable of horses at the Indiana Derby.
Absolutely,
no question. We don't know who the horse is yet.
Could be, maybe he runs this horse back. He goes for that little Midwest Triple Crown that we've been trying to get them to start.
Or if he likes this, it's Salute the Stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe Salute the Stars comes back because we still have 2 full weeks here.
Sure.
He runs in the Indiana Derby. I don't know. They think he's fit. Who knows? 3 weeks, not so ridiculous.
All right. Well, so that was Salute the Stars winning that for Brad Cox. We'll see if there's enough pace for him to take down the Haskell. All right, Zach. So we're going to go to our next replay, which is consumer spending. Win the Eatontown.
This slow pace, they went 1:13.50. Vergara at the top of the lane has got the lead. Gina Romantica now sprints after her. At the rail is surprisingly looking for that seam, and Consumer Spending 4 across the course. Vergara is trying to gut it out for a final furlong. Consumer Spending to the outside. Vergara's game, but Consumer Spending is best. Consumer Spending wins the Eatontown. Surprisingly up for second, then came Vergara.
All right, Zach, you were not here last week, but I know you enjoy Family Guy. Can you name the track announcer at Monmouth? I tried to give you as much of a hint as possible. His name is Chris Griffin. How about that?
Oh, there you go.
So, also calls races, of course, at Aqueduct.
There you go.
I was on YouTube, so I didn't get the chance to click in. But yes, I knew that was Chris Griffin.
I love Chris Griffin. It's very excitable. I like Chris. There you go. By the way, the only thing I said before that race was the Eatontown feeds to, oh gosh, what is it? The
Matchmaker.
Matchmaker, thank you. And Chad Brown's won 5 of the last 6 matchmakers. Consumer spending trained by Chad Brown seemed to be a good choice here as well. So we got away again from Gina Romanica, who I
Came
think
in 4th.
And I think that was more just get her legs underneath her, get ready for the matchmaker, probably. I think we'll see her again next month. But consumer spending looked really, really good. That's the style that definitely can win that race again next month.
And the favorite went off at surprisingly was the favorite.
We had surprisingly we had 3 horses in that race.
Or a guy,
what's
the guy's name we had from Monmouth last week? Why am I forgetting?
Brian,
his name?
right?
Brian, yeah. He
from Monmouth, yeah.
He loves surprisingly. That was his pick, and
that horse had to make a move next to the rail and didn't want to do it. Did you notice that?
Yep.
Got up there, the lane was there, and the horse went, I don't know. And so we were covered both ways on our ticket, but had that horse, surprisingly, frankly, because under Paco Lopez, you would have assumed that he would have gotten that horse through. Just didn't work out on Saturday.
So that was consumer spending with Sammy Camacho aboard. Again, Chad Brown is the trainer, taking down that, and we'll get that start in the matchmaker. So, yeah,
How many guys do we watch take their phone away from their girlfriend tonight?
Take their phone away from their girlfriend. Well, listen, none of these guys should be dumb enough to have their girlfriends with their phone. Like, if you're ever around this culture, typically, like Brandon Miller for sure, he's got a couple girls that don't know about each other.
Or
he's got one girl that doesn't know about the other ones, and the other girls know about the main one.
That's
He's got
right, yeah.
what the wifey. They got like there's like a pecking order that I used to know how it all went, but yeah, is that Jack Harlow? No, all right. There's
no, but he's going to score just as many points in the NBA as Jack Harlow.
Have you watched the White Man Can't Jump remake?
No.
I
respect myself a little more than that.
Straight to Hulu. White Man Can't Jump.
Straight to Hulu.
So,
little Olivier Maxence.
All right, while we're waiting on Jerry Mack to pop on, which hopefully he'll pop on here any second. Here, we got a couple minutes before he's supposed to be on. We told him 8:00. Let me just kind of like preface, I guess, how we got connected with Jerry Mack and who Jerry Mack is. So I think most people know that I own a real estate office in Louisville, Kentucky. We have some extra office space. I definitely have more office space than I need. Is that true, Louie?
You used to need all of it, but now you don't need all of it.
No, I've never needed all of it.
Well, all of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
because we got like almost 4,000 square feet.
That's fair enough.
So
Mike's house fits in his office twice. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, almost.
It's a joke.
We had so we were connected with this production company who's making a horror movie in Louisville. The Louisville 7 movies being made in Louisville this summer, by the way.
That's what happens when you have decent government incentives.
That's right.
How about that?
And the director of this movie is a guy named Paul Pomba. And Paul Pomba III is the director. Paul Pomba Jr. is his father, who passed away, was the original owner of Big Brown and had part of Big Brown when he won the Kentucky Derby. Well, Jerry Mack is who we're going to have on. And, we're covering a lot of New York racing right now, a lot of Jersey racing right now. And Jerry Mack is Paul Pompa's racing manager, stable manager. So part of our 101 sequence here, we're going to have Jerry Mack on. Now, listen, Jerry Mack has been in this game for over 20 years, and he's got all the stories. I mean, this is the situation whenever Jerry gets on here that we're just going to have to, drop a quarter in there, wind the machine up, and let him go. And hopefully you guys are going to get some straight Jersey stories, and you're going to love every second of it. But, it's weird how we get hooked up with a movie company and
making horror films
and there's this horse racing connection that's to the one of the greatest Derby performer horses of all time. So I'm really interested to talk to him about.
Did you say horsies?
I did think I did say
yeah
horses.
Okay, just checking. Yeah.
I'm really interested just to talk about how they got Big Brown in the first place, the story behind that. They've also owned Country Grammar before he was trained by Bob Baffert. They'll talk about their strategy that they had, where they weren't afraid to sell a horse.
Right.
And then the horse that they still have the breeding rights to is Connect, which of course Mr. Issel
friend of the show, Dan Issel, that's right.
Yeah. So that's what we got coming on here. if Jerry gets on the show. So we'll see.
Yeah, next
We'll
couple
see what
minutes
happens. And maybe he doesn't. You know,
Maybe,
this is live, and
talk NBA for a couple minutes.
we can talk NBA until we get
He's
our
got
next
Jersey
guest.
stuff going on. How about you don't worry about that?
Yeah, you never know with Jerry Mack.
We will have a couple 4-segment show. Very unusual for us to have a 4-segment show. We will have Jerry on next for our horse racing 101. Then we'll have Larry Rivelli on. Just got confirmation from him. Trainer of Two Phils, of course, the favorite in the Ohio Derby, the Grade 3 Ohio Derby this weekend. $500,000 in that one. How about that? In a very serious field in the Lady Jacqueline right before it as well. So this is a very cool close to the day there. Interstate Daydream, who Zach and I saw a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Black Eyed Susan.
That's a great horse right there.
Pimlico, and then she won the K-Back won the Indiana Oaks as well. And then, of course, this year, K-Back, we saw her this year on 19th was Preakness Day. We saw her win the DuPont. And so ahead of Misty Vale and Leda Vita, who are both in that field as well. 63 Calibers in that field. Coming off a really good run in the Shawnee.
Okay.
Ran right behind Idiomatic, which is another one of Brad Cox's potential summer absolute blockbusters. And so a bunch of really good horses in that 11th race. The late double, I mean, as far as quality, very, very high end in Cleveland this weekend.
Okay. Yeah. There it is. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to go to Cleveland, but I guess to go to the Ohio Derby.
Because if you want to understand Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bone, 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 bone.
And how 40 ounces just taste better in Cleveland, you have to go to Cleveland to discover those things.
We are all in agreement about how underrated Bone Thugs and Harmony is. As far as Zach, are you on board with that?
I don't know if Zach likes
I used to live in Columbus, Ohio, and Busy Bone came into the local cheesecake factory, and I would hang out and drink with him.
All right, that's right. That's right. All right, we got our man Jerry Mack is here. So there's Jerry McLenin. Jerry, how's it going, sir?
Could you guys hear me? You hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Jerry. We got you. So, Jerry, I was kind of telling our listeners a little bit about you.
Do you want to play my open here?
Yeah, we're gonna do a little. This is our 101 segment, so we're gonna play our little read here real quick.
Promise?
What?
You promise?
I promise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Horse Racing 101 with the Horse Racing Happy Hour, sponsored by the Maryland Horse Breeders Association. There's no better time to breed and race in Maryland. Maryland breds racing in open overnight races in Maryland receive a 15% owner bonus and a 15% developer bonus with a top 3 finish. To learn more about the advantage of breeding and owning Maryland breds, visit us at marylandthoroughbred.com or call them 410-252-2100.
All right. Thanks to our friends at the Maryland Breeding Association for sponsoring this segment with Jerry Mack. All right, Jerry, your official title for Pomba Racing is the stable manager. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So tell everyone in this 101 segment, we're just kind of educating a little bit. What does the stable manager do? And then I want you to tell me specifically, because you did a little bit of everything for Pomba.
Yeah, basically, we started out very small, started claiming a couple of horses, getting a little action going. Then, after about a year, Paul goes, let's expand. He sent me down to OBS, my trainer, and we bought first 2-year-old he bought for $100,000, which at the time I thought was a lot of money. It ended up being this Bianco Appeal, ended up winning a stake race. So he started off on the right foot. So eventually we got a few more horses, and he was running a trucking company at the time, Paul. So he had all kinds of stuff going on. He put me in charge of the horses, checking with the trainers, making sure they're working out, looking at the condition books, even though we wanted the trainers to really pick out the races. But, I would always have a little hand on if there was a race coming up, and just the well-being of the horses. It was like a whole team effort,
So you were basically a liaison for Paul to the racing world. Is that a good way of putting it?
I mean, when he first got into horse racing, through his father, I used to hang out with his father. We claimed a couple of horses. He had a small stable at Monmouth, and he asked me for my advice. And then when Paul, 1999, he goes, I want to get into horse racing. And I said, Paul, 95% of the people lose money, and the other 5% lie. So he laughed. He said, let's
Well,
try
he's
it. He
still-
goes, I'm a real good businessman. And let's just see what we could do with this. And it started small, and by the time it rolled into like getting into the area of Big Brown, I mean, we were up to like 40 horses at that time.
Did you
And
buy Big Brown as
I
a
needed
yearling?
help.
Is
I
that
needed
correct?
help. Because
Did you all
Paul
purchase
was
Big
like,
Brown as a
he said,
yearling?
it's just me and you. He said, it's just me and you. We had no secretaries, no people on that side. It was just me and him. We contacted the horse, secretaries. We were doing everything, and the trainers are there with us, obviously. But we had a wild ride. I swear, it was really wild.
So when you all purchased Big Brown was a yearling. Is that correct?
Well, we got Big Brown's at 2-year-old sale.
Okay.
All right. I picked the horse out because we owned we claimed the horse in Gulfstream, Snake River Canyon for $80,000. All right. So we get the horse. Reynolds was our trainer at the time. He liked the horse. So we were action guys. He goes, we're running right back in the same race for 80. The same owners, we win the race easily, and the same owner claims them back. So the mother, I was tracking all the horses I had. I put the dams down in my book. So every sale would come up, I cross-reference, and here's this dam, Mien. Hey, Paul, there's a horse in the sale. The dam is Mien. He goes, all right. He goes, let's go for it, right? So we send our crew over there, guys from Hidden Brook. They were like the farm we used. They went over. They looked them over. They said it looks pretty good. And we sent our vet in there, Mike Chavanis. He gave him a very high rating. So he said, well, let's start bidding on him and see how high it goes. So we got him all the way up to like 180, 190. Paul told him, hit it again. So I said, Paul, don't go over 200. I mean, the horse doesn't look like he's going to, even get a mile and a quarter. Forget it, And the Mien was a turf bred, Nuriev mare. So, boom, we have Big Brown. It was just like the guys at the Hidden said the horse looked very good. Our vet said he looked very good. So we got him for 190. We get him back. And he was training like awesome. And Pat Reynolds said, this is one of the best 2-year-olds I've ever had in my life. And the rest was history after that. I mean, it was just an incredible ride. But that was a big, after we hit that, we were on a really big roll at that time. We had Backseat Rhythm. She won multiple grade ones. I mean, we were hooked up with the IEH people after we sold Big Brown to them. We were buying horses with them. I mean, it was just a whirlwind going on at the time. And, he was having so much fun, Paul. I mean, he just he went from a guy from an investor, guy I taught anything and everything I knew about horse racing to. He absorbed it all. And then he had a passion that was unbelievable for the horses. I mean, he just loved them,
So Big Brown wins the Derby. Are you there? What's the reaction?
Well, let me go back to the first race.
Okay.
All right.
Labor Day weekend, all right? So, Pat Reynolds, very forthcoming, very intelligent trainer. I said, Pat, this guy could run. I said, you got him on grass. He goes, he could run on grass, dirt, glass, concrete. He said, this is one of the best 2-year-olds I've ever had. He said, tell Paul to come up here and wear a suit. I said, okay.
We're getting our picture
drive
taken.
up there. We go up in a limousine. Go to his office, right? Picks me up. We drive up there. Now we're waiting around. We have another horse in a race right after his. I said, let me hook up a pick 3, pick 4, so, So, at the beginning, Edgar Prado was going to ride him. He broke his
Just
wrist.
retired, by the way.
did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Edgar. I love the guy. He's an unbelievable guy.
6,000 wins. Nothing wrong with
Anyway,
that.
Edgar broke his wrist. We had to get a substitute jockey. We get Jeremy Rose, which I knew he was top Maryland guy, you know. I said, okay, whatever. So we go out into the paddock. He had the one hole. Get this. We're walking around. He's walking around the tree. He rears up. Goes over backwards. Where
Cool.
Pat ran over. He's trying to pull him down. The groom's there. I go to Paul. Paul, we have no chance here. You know, he almost hit his ass on the floor. He goes, all right. So now he settles down. I watched him go through the tunnel. And Pat told Jeremy, just hold on. I'm like, are you serious? The horse is like 15-1 at the time. So Paul goes to the window. He makes a nice bet. I make a nice bet. And he goes out there. He just dusts the field. I guess everybody knows the story. And Jeremy Rose came back and he threw a couple of profanities out. He goes, this is the fastest bank length my horse I ever rode. And I told Paul on the way home, I said, the phone's going to be ringing off the hook, Paul. Now, we're basically new into the game. He's only in the game like 7 years. He's had a horse maybe a Kentucky Derby type. First time out, 2-year-old. Everybody wants one. And sure enough, the phone was ringing like crazy. We're getting offers from all over the place. And we wanted to stay in. Paul he's an action guy. He goes, I don't want to sell a whole horse. I want to have a piece of it. So a couple of big guys out there, you know, like the Dollies and Gandolfos, they wanted to buy them for big money, but couldn't get a piece. And then we had this bloodstock agent we know, Nick Saluso. He was working for IEAH at the time, you know, and they had some big horses, right? They called us up. They go, we're going to meet, and we're going to give you an offer you can't refuse. So Paul goes, all right. So we're on a three-way, and I'm listening. Paul's listening. I'm sitting across from him. And the guy goes, we'll give you like $4 million to stay in for 25%. I just put my thumb up in the air and said, Paul, you got to take that. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Stay there for
God.
20, you know, stay in for 25%. He'll give you that kind of cash. I mean, you know. And sure enough, now they get him. They send them over to Dick Dutro. And, you know, it's going to be a whole change around now with all the jockeys off. They're getting Kent the Stormo to ride them. And I'm all pumped up. I say, this is like fantasy, you know. I said,
Is this right before the Florida Derby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's that?
Right before the Florida Derby, right?
Yeah. So what happens? They're going to put him in the 2-year-old prep race at Aqueduct to run him in the Breeders' Cup 2-year-old grass race.
Right.
So he had major quarter crack problems. All right. So he gets a quarter crack right before the race. They can't run him in that. Let's put him on the sidelines. We put him on the sidelines, and I wasn't too familiar with Dick Dutro. He's a top horseman. And I said, what's the story? Let's lay him up, bring him back Gulfstream, and let's see how far we get him. Maybe we'll make like the Travers or, you know, Haskell or whatever after he wins, you know. I said, okay, you think he's that good? He goes, yeah, he trained excellent. So now, funny story, I got to tell you, I'm in Vegas for the National Handicapping Tournament. So I'm with all my buddies over to the Wynn, and they got the Kentucky Derby future bets. So I'm rubbing my pocket. I got 8,000 in my pocket, right? And I look up, Big Brown's 300-1. So I'm like, I tell my friends, like, what about your horse, Big Brown? I said, I don't think he's even in training. You know, it's January, you know? I got to call up. I call up Dutro. He goes, hey, babe, what's up? I said, I'm in Vegas, and I'm just looking at this board for Big Brown. He's 300-1. He goes, for what? I said, for the Derby. Because he's walking around Shed Row with no shoes on right now. He goes, you know, if we get him ready for the summer, I'd be happy. I don't even put $10 on him. I said, okay. All right. All of a sudden, it's February 6th, and they got him in an allowance race on the grass. And I'm like, babe, what happened? Because he just turned the corner. He started working tremendously, but okay. So the first race he's going to run was a grass race. It's pouring rain. It's coming down. You can't believe in the morning. So now IEH is involved, and they have some partners, and me and Paul and Dutcho, and we're going to have like a 10-way. Everybody's all over the country, and so we run them on the dirt. Paul, listen, you could run them on anything. As far as I heard from, Pat Reynolds said we could run them on anything. And Dutcho said, yeah, I think he's okay. And the first race, he won by like 15 and a half. Against us.
Oh.
It wasn't a great allowance field, but he won. Right away, we're looking at Florida Derby. I'm the Florida Derby. He just won a 1X, And then, of course, he gets post 12. No horse ever won from post 12 in the Florida Derby. And I'm saying if he wins this race, he's a super horse, and he won that race easily.
By 5.
Now we're going to go to the Derby. I'm like, everybody's ecstatic, So Paul says, get the whole family together, 27 people. He flies us all out to the Derby. So I'm doing the numbers. I'm a thoroughgraph guy, and he's running like -2s as a 3-year-old. He's like unbelievable numbers.
Sure.
And they said, I don't think he could get beat here, but let's see how the draw goes. Of course, we get down, there's 3 numbers left. You pick your post. So I ran those. I just take the 20. I'm telling you, I couldn't believe he said that. I'll just take the 20. No horses ever won from the 20 hole. So now we have to win consecutive races, from the 12 hole at Gulfstream to the 20 hole at Churchill. And he pulled that off. I said, we might have a Triple Crown horse. Yeah, I swear, this is like unbelievable. And of course, listen, the Belmont is just, that's those, when you win 3 races in 5 weeks, something to just happen to a horse. I mean, there's always talk about that Winstrol thing, this, that. The horse just, that day, maybe he just didn't have it. We don't know. Nobody will ever know. But he came back. He won the Haskell.
Yeah.
He won that turf race. We were going to run him in the Breeders' Cup, but he got the quarter cracks again. So we did what is right for the horse. We syndicated him. And, I go see him every year. When I go up to Saratoga, I stop at Quest Royal, go over and pet him, yell out, "Hey, Brownie," comes running over. I mean, the horse is living a nice life.
Good, man.
I mean, that was just a blast. I could tell you what happened after that, but we started breeding to him. But we had 101 big brown babies, like 4 years. And none of them were really turning out too good,
Yeah.
And then finally we had to say, all right, we have to get out and sell them all. That was a heartbreaker. But we kept a couple. Paul told me, pick out 3 of them you liked. I picked out this Hard Study. These are like babies at the time. And send it in. And one other one, he didn't do well, but send it in Hard Study, both won like $500,000, So he had a couple of decent horses. He had Dortmund for Baffert. That was a nice one.
Huge
But
horse.
he puts out some nice New York Reds right now. That smoking hot brown. Anytime I see a big brown horse, I could just have $20 on just for the hell of it, because I love the horse.
So Louie, one of the 100 big brown offspring was Puka, who is the mayor for Good Magic.
Yep.
I remember Bred to Good Magic was Mage. Originally. Yeah, it was Mage's mom. So the big brown line wins the Kentucky Derby this year as the dam sire.
I'll ask Jerry, do you remember who was on Dr. Cal, who finished second behind Big Brown when he broke his maiden at Saratoga?
Oh, that's a tough one. That was Matzos, but I remember that.
How about that? Kent DeSorbo, how about that? Kent saw the back of him, and they got to ride him. How about that? I think that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Not a bad change of fate for him there.
He's like a fantastic specimen if you ever see him up close. I'm telling you, man. But it was a ride. I loved it.
And you had a couple other good ones come along. You all had Country Grammar for a while before you all sold them, and Baffert took them over. You all also own Connect, and does the state of Paul, because Paul passed away, do they still own Connect?
Yes, we when Paul syndicated them, he took 10%. Kept in on 10% of them. So we still have 4 breeding shares, and plus a syndicate. So that's been going well. He's been putting out some nice runners. He had that rattle and roll, really turned into a nice horse. He's got the Philly Hidden Connection running this weekend. It's sporadic.
Strike is running in the Ohio Derby this weekend.
Years, and he's only been there for, it's only his 3 crops, so he could turn it around at any time. I mean, Into Mischief, he didn't start out with a bang either. It's just the way it happens,
Absolutely.
Tapper too. If you look back at Tapper, his first 3 or 4 years, he wasn't really too much of a stallion, and it just clicked. It's a tough business breeding, much tougher than betting or racing horses.
I mean, just rattle and roll. Hayes Strike, the Atlas look. We watched her win
on
the Oaks Trail this year. Hidden Connection, of course, part of that group as well. Deputy Connect, all kinds of things. So no, off to. I mean, Cripes, he's got what 7, 8, 6-figure winners already. So yeah, Connect's doing the thing. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I follow most of the horses. We still have like 12 out there that Paul bred personally. I love the guy, and I just every time he has a filly out there, Tom Morley has Granny's Connection. She just won like 4 or 5 in a row. She's a New York bred, and he took it out to Monmouth 2 weeks ago. I had to go down just to see the horse. She's a big, beautiful animal, right? So she goes in a Monmouth race. He's running like, I think it was 1X or 2X open. And she just goes to the lead, never stops. She won 5 in a row, wire to wire. We had the mare, Granny's Drink. She had 1 race for Linda Rice. She ran off the screen. Then she got a little injury that was we didn't want to take a chance. We use it for breeding. So we bred Connect to her, and they got this Granny's Connection. I mean, fast filly. I'm just hoping she gets to the Breeders' Cup.
So, Jerry, what was growing up? What was your home track? Like, where was your horse racing memories? What track was were all those formed at?
I always, I was never involved. My father would never take me to the track. He'd take my brother, right up till I was like 15. Then my oldest brother said, "I know you like horse racing. I'll take you to the track." And I had to tell him, "Well, don't tell Dad," So I went to Aqueduct. I seen a stake race, Susan's Girl. Remember that horse?
Wow.
She was a champion filly.
All right.
And then I was hooked after that. And right after I got out of high school, I said, I'm going to go work at the track. So I went to the track. I did make like 11 months walking horses, mucking stalls. I loved it. I was getting paid like $146 a week. You're working 7 days a week, and it was fun. But but my brother, he was in the Printers Union. He goes, "You want to make some real money?" I said, "I guess I have to because I can't afford, what I'm doing here." So I went in the printing union. I was in there also my whole life until '99. Paul calls me and tells me about getting into the horse game, which that changed my life. So I had two careers I had. But Aqueduct was always my favorite track. I mean, Belmont I went to a few times, but it was basically Aqueduct.
You don't hear that very often. Someone from New York saying over Saratoga and Belmont that Aqueduct's the place to go. I love it.
Probably be me. Yeah.
By
the
way,
way,
do like that kind of track.
I do like that kind of track. By the way, Susan's Girl, the 1972 winner of the Kentucky Oaks. How about that?
All right.
There you go.
So
she raced 63 times, 29 wins, 14 seconds in her career.
We don't see that anymore, do we?
Nope. She was great. Yeah.
No.
And we're talking about the Spinster, the Beldame, the Delaware Handicap, the match. She won the matchmaker at Atlantic City when it was still at Atlantic City. Second in the Vanity and the Wilshire, grade 1, grade 3. Before that, won the Long Beach Handicap at Hollywood Park. I mean, she won graded stakes at something
coast
like,
to coast,
like 10 different tracks.
Wow.
Yeah. No, she was.
That's
that's like, you know what, Jerry? We talk about it on this show. Those 63 starts. Fall in love with those fillies. When they're 2-3 years old, because they're going to run forever, right?
Yeah. I mean, the game's a little changed right now. I mean, I'd like to see these guys that keep their horses in training. When we sold Regal Glory, Peter Brandt bought her. We know she's worth a lot of money right now, but Peter Brandt just loved the horse. He was really great friends with Paul. And he said, I'm going to race her again. I said, really? I said, okay. She was 5, And then she put in this spectacular season. She was winning every race. I was just so happy. But, a lot of guys, when a mare's 5, that's usually the prime age to put them into breeding. But he ran her. So now she's in foal into mischief, I believe, right now.
Oh, cool.
So.
Awesome. Well, Jerry, I appreciate it a whole lot for coming on today. You got another one?
No, appreciate Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry, thanks for coming on. It's always kind of cool to see someone who, was mucking stalls to running an entire racing operation. It's pretty amazing. How do you like to enjoy the races now? What do you do? Do you go out to Monmouth? Do you go to Aqueduct, or
yeah,
I
love to go home. I play a lot in the tournaments right now. I qualified for the NHC again a couple of weeks ago. But I enjoy those tournaments. You go out. I have so many friends now. It's just all the people. If I go to the track now, I get a million people coming up to me. How you doing? I love everything. Everything's great. And betting on the horses. Listen, it's a thrill, and it's very hard to pick winners. Like all these people that yell at Andy Sterling on TV and the guys on TVG. They're picking every single race. I mean,
every single one.
If I was on there, if I get 3 winners a day, I'm happy.
100%.
And they expect these guys to pick every race. It's very hard. I mean, they wouldn't allow me on TV because I said I'm passing that race. I'm passing that $7,000 claimant race. And I'm just going to take the races you like. Everybody should do that. But if I go out to the track, what I love to go to see is all the 2-year-old races. Fresh blood. Tomorrow's a couple of beautiful 2-year-old races. Oh my God! I hope it don't rain too hard.
So I want to know then, because I think it's fascinating. Because I think you could probably look at 2-year-old races 1,000 different ways. How do you like to handicap a 2-year-old race? What do you look at first when they have limited?
Well, it was a lot easier when I was in the game with the trainers because everybody has an opinion, and most of these guys know when their horse is going to run. But if the workout pads are very, you got to see them working every 7 days. You try to get a nice workout before the race. Not the last workout, maybe the race before that. That's their primary workout, is the workout before the last. If you see a nice 2-year-old work like a minute flat anywhere, they're ready to roll,
Nice.
So I always look for that. I mean, they don't have to work 59s. If they can work a minute, runners, for a 2-year-old.
All right. Well, Jerry, thanks again for coming on, and maybe we'll do this again sometime.
I appreciate it.
Sure, guys. That was great. Happy to have you on there. I love it.
Yeah, good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you. All right, there it is. Jerry Mack, the part of the connections of Big Brown.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting stuff, man. The guy's got stories for days, though.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. All right. Well, let's
next time we're gonna have you not show up. Let Jerry talk, and I'll just react to Jerry.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you could have rolled with that interview, no problem. All right, we're going to enter into our handicapping segment as we wait for our guest, Larry Rivelli, to join the show, he'll tell us about his favorite in the Ohio Derby.
3 horses running actually at Thistledown on Saturday in different races. So
yeah, anybody else in the stakes races here?
No, but one of his owners is shipping in for 2 of the allowance races. I'm actually interested to ask about those as well.
Great. So do you want to go ahead and start with race 9?
We do. Just a heads up, if you haven't checked them out, First Gen Sports, 1stgensports.com. Check out Louie's Look Ahead every Saturday. It's kind of a recap of this segment on the show. We always link this part of the show too as well if you end up missing it. But all of my takes on what will happen in the sequence that we're checking out. And this week is the late pick 4 at
Thistledown.
At Thistledown.
And that starts with the Daniel Stearns Cleveland Cup. It's a 1.125 on the dirt for 3-year-olds. Ohio breds only, $75,000 purse. Louie, where did you land in this race?
So in the 9th, like you mentioned, the 9th and the 10th are going to be Ohio only, right? So
yep.
We get the state breds here, the $75,000 races. By the way, did you look up who Daniel Stearns is?
That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Just, you gotta wait for a
Daniel
little bit.
Stearns, kind of an important figure in Ohio racing.
Okay.
But also, I think the name of a serial killer.
Yeah, it's probably not that guy.
So it's not him. It's the other one. So go ahead and do that. I landed on a couple of different horses here. So what's interesting is the prep race for this race is a turf race at Belterra in Cincinnati.
Okay.
But then they turn it back and go on the dirt at a 1.125 here. There's this, 1.125 And so last time out, Trojan Tail routed for the first time, seemed to really like it. Comes back, keeps Farron Peterson, the jockey here. She's back for this one. Looks to make it 3 in a row. Trainer Mike Baker goes very well between surfaces. So for me, I'll be looking for that one. I think it's an obvious favorite here, the 6. Trojan Tail. Paint the Town is the 3 horse in this race, Mike. Run well in the mud before. I think there's a chance we're actually going to get rain tomorrow and Saturday in Cleveland.
Okay.
And so if we're looking for horses that run well when it's wet, I would look for Paint the Town, not wet paint, but Paint the Town.
Paint the Town.
See how I did that?
Yep. I like it.
Decent chance. We're looking at a wet track, like I mentioned. That Gorham Diaz combo at Thistledown, 29% together. And after getting the experience after over 2 turns, I think that horse will also be part of the final equation. Look for the 2 Fair and Square and the 4 Return on Investment. I think they're both interesting runners. I would lean toward Fair and Square in this one, the 2 horse here for Tim Ham, the trainer there. Horse has been running in that state bred company in these stakes here, these black types enlisted stakes, has run behind Trojan Tail twice last 2 times out, but only lost by a couple lengths last time. Does now have that routing experience as well. I would lean on the 2 first. So if I had a top 3 here, I would go 6, 3, and 2.
All right. So Daniel Stearns was the veterinarian who tended to the police horses in Cleveland, and then he bred some race horses. But then I think as a Michigan State guy, or a Big Ten guy specifically, you like that he championed the Ohio State Victory Bell. So that,
why would I like Ohio State?
Well, I mean, just because it has something to do with Big Ten football, and it's like the only.
Zach shaking his head because he knows I'm right. Hell no.
I'm with that too. I'm no on Ohio State all day long.
No, but I think it's cool that they named the Cleveland Gold Cup after him. The guy obviously had a very important career.
Yeah, it was around for a long time.
Yep. Died what, a decade ago?
Something like that. Sounds about right.
11 years ago?
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
All right, we'll move on to race 10, another Ohio bred race here for 3-year-olds and up, 1 mile and 16th on the dirt. This is the George Lewis Memorial, another $75,000 race. Where did you land in this race?
Yeah, so these state bred races are really interesting, and I think once in a while you have to go for the harder, older horses that have been knocking around for a while. The 8 Big Truck in here, I think, is a deserved favorite at 3-1, 3 for 9 at the distance. Won his last 2 going 2 turns. Is getting back to routing here, so that makes a lot of sense. Couple last races here, he's been sprinting. I don't think that's what he wants to do. I do think that he wants to get back to 2 turns. I think he'll do that. Mobile Solutions in this race, the 3, 8-year-old gelding, 30 starts, 9 wins, 9 places, 5 shows at Thistledown in his career. So that horse does nothing but hit the board at Thistledown. 7 for 21 at the distance. And again, because we're in that state bred company, we're really looking at this as like a nice allowance rather than something more advanced, like a grade 3 or grade 2, something like that. Give me those 2 on top. So the 8 and the 3. I'm fascinated by Venture on the 5 here. By numbers, speed numbers, I should say, figures, not impressive. But the times say otherwise. We just talked about this with Jerry. Looking at workouts with 2-year-olds or whatever it might be. In this case, he's actually quite capable. And I think there's a chance that he's part of the final equation as well. So if you're looking for a longer shot horse to hit the board and be part of your exacta say or the trifecta, look for the 5. So I went 8-3-5 in the George Lewis.
The lonesome George Lewis, as he was known. And since you're having the rider from the Plain Dealer, that's exactly who George Lewis was. He was the handicapper for the Plain Dealer. And you don't. I think one day there should be a John Sherva Stakes or a Ron Flatter Stakes. Or,
well, who's going to be on the Ron Flatter pod tomorrow, right?
Who's that?
Louie Rabaut.
Oh, are you?
How about that?
Oh man, I didn't even know. I didn't even know I was priming that one up.
I already taped that one. How about that?
Yeah. So there it is.
Your boy tomorrow, by the way, on this little Issel and Louie with a little Plain Dealer.
Yeah.
Little Ron Flatter. That's way too much Louie Rabaut.
I wonder if there might. Are you doing the show from home tomorrow? Is that what's going on?
Ooh, good question. Probably.
Okay. The
Zach is just shaking his head the last 5 minutes of the show. No Ohio State, too much Louie, and where are you doing this show? Trying to figure it all out.
This Ohio bred program, though, Louie, I think is something that really benefited from casino gambling. I mean,
no question.
I mean, we saw
Terra and Thistledown are both racinos. I have to think about Mahoning Valley, but I'm almost certain.
No, it is. I'm pretty sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm almost 100% sure it is. But that is.
Oh, good. The Pistons aren't taking him in top.
You didn't like Amy Top?
Let me tell you about the number of horseshoe casinos I saw driving the 10 across the eastern part of the United States.
Well, I think that that no doubt about it, casino gambling, this is exactly where West Virginia and Ohio, just their racing programs just bloomed out of the. I mean, they were around, but they became serious players once that kind of those purses came in there and the breeding became advantageous. So there it is. There's the 2 Ohio breds, and that leads us into race 11, which is the Lady Jacqueline, a mile and an eighth on the dirt. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. Now we're getting into some real money. $250,000 for a listed stakes. That's what casinos do for you, Louie.
It's also how you get the field that they have. If this is not a listed stakes, this is at minimum a grade 3, and I might go grade 2 minus because multiple winners of graded stakes in here. I think that this is I really like Interstate Daydream too as a she's 4, yeah, so as a filly. Look, she's carrying the most weight in this field. And the weight is based on not on age, but rather on wins. And so sometimes that's the giveaway. She won the Black-Eyed Susan last year. She's 2 for 2 at the distance. You get Frenchie, you get Brad Cox. This is the kind of trip that you make on purpose. And so I think she's absolutely the one to beat here. She's the 8 in the Lady Jacqueline. The 663 caliber ran huge last time I mentioned her early in the show in that grade 3 Shawnee at Churchill Downs. This is technically a class drop. And I think of Idiomatic and I think of Interstate Daydream as similar horses. I do think Idiomatic's probably running a little bit better right now. And so I do think that that 63 caliber, if she can repeat that performance from the Shawnee, has a serious shot here. Misty Vale's in here, the 5, put together a series of good runs this year, including in the DuPont, right behind Interstate Daydream last time at Pimlico. And so I think she can obviously turn the tables with a little added distance here. So I went 8.65 in the Lady Jacqueline.
Of course, Interstate Daydream also won the Indiana Oaks, which we saw live last year. So good. That is a good field.
That was either the race before or after we watched Ivar win a grass race. I can't remember.
It was right around it was
right after, I think.
Right, yeah. It was part of our pick 4 ticket that you rooted against me. To my face. You rooted against me.
Like people like texting me, "Oh, you missed Amen." I'm like, I don't care. I'm unimpressed with him.
I think he could be a stud. So we'll see what the Pistons do here. They are on the clock. Draft pretty much going as
I'm hearing
expected so far.
For the Pistons, they need another 6'4" guard
to go with Kate Cunningham.
With their other 6'4" guards. Yeah, right.
All right.
For the Big Ten.
Race 12 is the grade 3 Ohio Derby. This, of course, if it says Derby, it's for 3-year-olds. Mile and an eighth on the dirt, $500,000. We're going to see the return of 2 fills here. Heavy favorite. But there's probably a couple other shooters here that you liked as well, right, Louie?
Interesting race. Last year we got the Tawny Port White Barrio matchup, and they went toe-to-toe down the stretch. We got a really good Ohio Derby last year. Best horse in this race is 2 fills. Look, generally speaking, the best 3-year-olds run in the Kentucky Derby. We got that with 2 fills this year. Ran a really good Derby. Just wasn't going to beat Mage on that day. Every metric points to him winning this race. Speed figures, trainer stats, etc. Underrated how good Larry Rivelli is at placing his horses. People who listen to this show are tired of me talking about how trainers place their horses. Larry Rivelli has won 34 of his 99 starts this year.
Wow.
That's
a good percentage. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And we're talking about that, including 4 runs for 2 fills this year. He's only won 1 race. I mean, he's hit the board in all 4, but that second in the Kentucky Derby, that first, of course, in the Jeff Ruby in the grade 3, ran in the Risen Star and ran in the Lecomte, did not get the win in either of those. So he is technically 1 for 2 at the distance because of the Jeff Ruby. But then before that, of course, finished 3rd in the Risen Star behind Sun Thunder and Angel of Empire. I do think he's the class here. Bishop's Bay is in here. Arcangelo beat him in the Peter Pan. What did Arcangelo do the next start?
Won the Belmont.
Won the Belmont. Yeah. So like once in a while, you give a horse a pass for losing by a head. What I don't like about this horse is he gets in the stretch and he doesn't pull away from horses. He likes to run right next to them. I think he's capable of pulling away and he just doesn't do it. And that bothers me.
So you think he's a pack animal?
I think he really is.
Yeah.
And it's Florent Giroux riding him. It's not like it's like pushing him through the finish line or something. I don't think Florent's a good match for the horse, but I think he can win. I think it's an Uncle Mo, Pioneer the Nile mare, like totally capable. They paid $450,000 for this horse. They obviously think in the Spendthrift group that he's got obvious talent. I agree that he's got obvious talent and that he can win here. The other horses here that people will know that I think are the unknowns in this race are the 7 Lord Miles.
Sure.
Scratched out because of the steward's decision in Kentucky to shut down all of the Saffie Joseph horses. He's flying in Edgar Zayas to ride this horse. That's not an accident. He obviously thinks he has something here. The other one is Hayes Strike. We've talked about Hayes Strike on this show because we did the Maryland series. He ended up going to Maryland. He wins the private terms with Lasix. Runs back in the Bluegrass. No Lasix. Finishes 9.5 lengths back in 7th place. The other Thompson?
I think this Thompson is probably not as much upside as Amen, but he's probably more NBA ready right now. So there you go. There he is. One college player taken in the first 5 picks of the NBA draft, which was going to happen.
So Hayes Strike comes back in the Texas Derby last out.
By the way, for people who want to know what we just talked about, Ozzer Thompson just picked by the Detroit Pistons right after his twin brother, Amen Thompson, went to the Houston Rockets. So there you go.
Detroit's a better place to live than Houston. All right. So the Hayes Strike comes back. He wins last time out in the Texas Derby. Guess what he gets?
What?
Lasix.
Lasix. All right.
Guess the last time he won without Lasix?
His
maiden run at Ellis Park.
Okay. The pea patch.
Yeah. So he's a very unknown for me without Lasix. So to me, he's not a winner here. The winner to me is 2 Phils. If it's not him, to me, it's Bishop's Bay. I would only play 2 horses here at most. I would play the 4 and the 3 in the Ohio.
So what's your ticket look like here, Louie?
I don't have one yet.
Okay.
That'll be up at firstgensports.com this weekend. You can check that out on Saturday. Should be real easy. And I should point this out. We did like the beer money stuff, and we were doing some fundraising.
Sure.
This
is all
in the
free.
This is all free because people helped us with the beer money stuff.
Yeah.
And now we have the website. So
yeah,
you can go check it out. First Gen Sports. It's called Louie's Look Ahead every Saturday. And go ahead and check that out. We are at Thistledown this weekend.
All right, there you go. Well, I'm assuming Larry Rivelli got hung up. So
I think they're either shipping in or whatever else, or he's driving to Cleveland from Chicago or something. Whatever it is, what it is.
So we'll effort him some other time. We'll see what we can do to get him back on. Maybe after he wins the Ohio Derby,
that would be nice
that we can get him on. So we'll try that again. So thanks to everyone for listening. Make sure you check out First Gen Sports. Zach, thanks as always for for being there for us. We appreciate you.
How about that?
Yeah. All right. Well,
are you gonna sit here and watch the draft for a while?
I'm gonna sit here and watch the draft until pick 58.
When Chris Livingston goes off the board?
Chris Livingston will go earlier than that. That's my pick. I think he goes in the 40s.
Okay. That'd be great for him.
Yeah, I think I don't think Oscar Sheboy gets picked.
I agree with that.
So, the Hood Schifino, Case and Wallace stuff would be interesting to watch.
Do you feel like your hair's ever been that good?
I mean, my hair is excellent all the time. So,
Are you on Ozzer Thompson's level?
For hair?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to be 100% clear. Mike's hair is awesome now. If you can ever find it, find House Hunters Mike.
Oh my God.
His hair was not awesome.
No, back then it was not awesome. That is true. Yeah, I didn't let my hair grow.
When
I didn't
you were
want to
19,
maintain
was
it.
your hair like? Were you dominating?
No, my hair. I kept it short because I didn't want to deal with it. I had all these curls and didn't want to deal with it. So, yeah. I'm now 19 though. 18 or 19, I had my hair in braids at one point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you lose a bet?
No, it was just like being stupid one time. Like, it wasn't like a permanent thing. It was like something I did for a day. So
this Thompson got different parents than the other one.
No, I don't think that's right.
Brother?
I think it's his brother. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna pay the tab. We're gonna get out here. We're gonna watch some NBA draft.
How about that?
Are we gonna have NBA draft coverage on the site tomorrow? First Gen.
It's going right now.
Right now. Okay.
Oh, it's going right now. So if you're watching us right now, flip over to First Gen Sports. Make sure you turn on ESPN to watch the draft, and then read up on what Jay Davis is working on. He's our NBA guy.
I love it. All right, we'll pay the tab. We'll get out here. This has been the Horse Racing Happy Hour. That was it. Look.